everybody. Welcome to the Bark Night Podcast. I am your host, Patrick.
And I'm Dan.
So tonight we are doing the top 10 favorite movies of ours from 1993. It is our usual top 10 list format. We go every other down the list and just kind of talk about what we like, why we like it. A little bit of a disclaimer for the list, just to remind everybody. It's our favorite movies from that year, not what we think are the best movies from that year. There's at least one movie that won some Oscars that I didn't even put on my list because if you've watched any of our other things, we've done a whole lot of that where it's like, hey, this movie's fantastic, but I've only watched it the one time. And when you're thinking about your favorites, you're thinking about rewatchability and things like that.
Big for us. Big for us.
Just keep in mind, a lot of these movies are probably going to be on here because they mean something to us, not because we think it's the best movie on the planet. Like A Man Apart on my other list.
Yeah, and A Man Apart's great. I've been wanting to watch it since you mentioned it.
Yeah, you should. You should. I'll send the DVD over to you.
I think my mom bought like some weird, like she does like the Fandango crap. Like it used to be Voodoo through Walmart, now it's Fandango. And she buys all these movies, like these like big packs, like 25 action movies. She's like, does this look good for $7? I'm like, grab it. I don't know. And I'm pretty sure Man on Fire's in there. So
Man on Fire is great. Man Apart is great. So whichever one you're talking about,
they're both are. Yes, I said both movies, didn't I? That's fine. They're both good.
Man on Fire is better. But
yes.
Okay, so let's jump into it.
Okay.
Dan.
Yes.
I did the thing again.
What thing?
I prepared 15 instead of 10.
That a boy.
Yeah. Did you just did 10?
I just did 10. Yeah.
Okay. You know me.
It's
a lot of movies this year.
It's a lot of movies. It's a big year.
I'll kick it off, dropping my 15 through 11.
Kick it off.
All right, so number 15 for me is Cool Runnings.
Yeah, that's a very fun movie.
It is a very fun movie, and it really, really means a lot to me because my mom, my sister, and I used to watch this movie so much. And it's a very quotable movie. And it's not your usual Disney sports movie.
No.
It's really, really interesting the way they tell the story. And obviously, this movie's 22 years old, so I'm going to spoil the ending right now. It's a sports movie.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's low stakes.
It goes one of two ways.
Right.
They win or they don't win.
They don't win at the end, so that's the spoiler. And I remember one time somebody got into an argument with me. Not an argument, but they were like, "Oh, I can't watch, sports movies because they're all the same. Somebody rises up and then they win." And I was like, "They're not all the same." No. They're like, "Name a sports movie where the team doesn't win." I was like, "Cool Runnings," without even missing a beat.
Bad News Bears.
Okay. And then I think I had a couple other ones too. But like, what's interesting about this?
Just burn them down.
I think they come in last, don't they?
I think they do, yeah.
But that's not what the movie's about.
No,
it's
about the fact that they were there.
They were there, and they've never been there before, and they finished the race. That's like the big thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this one was on my honorable mentions. I very much enjoy this movie, and if someone wanted to put it on anytime I'm around, I'll watch it. Absolutely.
Jamaica, we have a bobsled team. It's a very quotable movie. It's got John Candy in it.
John Candy. Towards the end, right? He didn't have very many movies after this.
No, I don't think he had too many after this.
But sorry, I threw you off. Yeah. Keep going.
No, I hadn't even thought about that. No, this is definitely towards the end of his career.
Unfortunate.
Very sad, very sad. But yeah, so that's my number 15. Number 14 is what I consider my A Man Apart, the Vin Diesel movie of this list, which is Nowhere to Run.
Nowhere to Run. Nowhere to Run. Nowhere to Run. I am blanking on this. I've looked at
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh.
So it's directed by Robert Harmon, who directed The Hitcher, if you know that one.
I do know that one.
And it's got Jean-Claude Van Damme, Rosanna Arquette, Kieran Culkin as a young child.
Nice.
As he was in a lot of things during this era. And then Ted Levine, or Levine.
Oh, nice.
Levine?
Levine's always said. I don't know if that's right, but that's how I've said it.
I've always said Levine, like growing up and everything. But then, like, right as I said that out loud, I've not said this dude's name out loud in a long time. I was like,
pretty sure it's
Levine.
Levine.
Probably Levine. like
Yeah.
Adam Levine. Anyways, yeah, he's in it. He's like the bad guy, along with a couple other. I can picture the other bad guy's face, but Ted Levine is like the main bad guy. He's a bad guy in a ton of movies during this era.
Yeah.
But it's basically Jean-Claude Van Damme's an escaped convict.
As you do.
Yep, he's riding his motorcycle through the countryside and comes across this family, which is, it's a single mom, Rosanna Arquette, and 2 children, Kieran Culkin and another girl that I don't recall what her name is, but I don't think she was in much other than this. But it's very good. And it might be my favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. I don't know why. It's got that interesting feel to it. It's really fun. It's not a great movie,
But it's special.
But it's special, and I watched it a lot when I was a kid. It was one of the first Jean-Claude Van Damme movies I ever saw. It might be the first.
There's another one that came out the same year that I'm gonna wait and see that pops up on your list that I was gonna talk about a bit, but
is it over here?
Yes, it might be.
Yeah, this was a good year for action movies.
It was.
So, yeah, we probably will talk about a few more as we go through here. But yeah, that's my number 14. Please,
I'll have to watch it.
I say check it out if you haven't seen it. It's definitely an underrated one of his, but I think it's one of his best ones.
It's one I don't know. You got me with one. Got me with a curveball right off the bat, Pat.
Right off the bat. This one means a lot to me, and I specifically remember watching it as a kid and coming back and asking my mom to, like, what's that one where the guy's on the prisoner bus and he gets broken out of jail, and then he's like literally like camping in the countryside, and like a corporation is trying to run all these people off their farms.
As you do.
As you do. There's nothing original.
So
about
90s.
This movie.
That is so 90s, yeah.
But the execution is good. Okay, my number 13, True Romance. You're probably thinking, why is this not higher? And I don't really have a good reason to this. It almost didn't make the list at all.
Yep.
But very good movie, directed by Tony Scott, who also did Top Gun, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Days of Thunder, The Last Boy Scout, then this, and then he moved from this to Crimson Tide, The Fan, Enemy of the State, Man on Fire, Deja Vu, Taking of Pelham 123, Unstoppable.
Quite the career.
Amazing, unbelievable career. Brother of Ridley Scott, he passed away, I want to say 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago.
Sounds right.
And very sad. He did a ton of movies with Denzel Washington. And he did those 4 back to back right at the end there. And they're all very good. So this is also notable because it's written by Quentin Tarantino and Roger Avary. And it's one of the only movies out there that Quentin Tarantino wrote, but didn't direct.
Yeah.
So... And it's very good. It's got an unbelievable cast.
Crazy cast.
Yeah, and so it's a really solid movie, and I wanted to include it on here. I watched this movie a lot growing up.
Yeah, good one.
Okay, number 12, A Perfect World. I've seen this.
That's the one with Clint Eastwood, right?
Yes, it's Clint Eastwood
and
Kevin
movie.
Costner.
It's a good movie. I've seen it. I meant to watch it for this list to try to see about maybe getting like I have memories of it. I remember enjoying it, but I've only seen it a couple times.
So, kicking this list off, I didn't get a chance to watch that many movies, but this is one that I did catch. This movie is available on YouTube for free.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and actually I put the link of it in our Google Doc that we were using, so if you want to watch it after this episode, it's right there for free.
I looked at it this morning. I'm like, why is that one all weird? And just kept kind of like blew past it.
I should have messaged you about it, but
That's
yeah.
all right.
So this is actually directed by Clint Eastwood as well, and it's his directorial follow up to Unforgiven. One thing I didn't remember about this is that it takes place in 1963.
Yeah,
didn't remember that whatsoever. But it's basically the story of once again an escaped convict,
as you do,
who is being hunted across 1963 Texas by Clint Eastwood, Laura Dern, and a few other people. And basically it's him and one other convict. They kidnap this young kid, and they're getting hunted by the law as they go across. They're just, basically on a road trip. But it's interesting because it's like, as I was thinking about this, I was like, this is very similar to the plot of Nowhere to Run. You've got the father-son relation, like surrogate relationship. In this case, it's Kevin Costner. In that one, it's Jean-Claude Van Damme. Granted, this one is a lot more well done. It's Clint Eastwood directing it, so they're putting in all these different things to make it much more of a rich experience. But it's very, very, very good. And once again, it means a lot to me because I watched this a lot growing up, and I remember, like, just there's certain things that always stuck out to me. The ending stands out to me. And actually, the ending of both of this and Nowhere to Run stand out to me because they're bittersweet endings almost. They're not really happy endings.
Yeah.
And they stood out because that was one of my first experiences with that growing up. I won't give away exactly what happens in each one, but they're bittersweet endings is the best way I can put it.
You mean Perfect World and Hard Target? Oops, shoot. Sorry.
And Nowhere to Run.
Nowhere to Run, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. They both have the trajectory of both movies is very similar.
Okay.
But
You had a type.
also, I mean, good year for Laura Dern. This isn't the only time we'll see her on this list. And also a good year for Clint Eastwood. This isn't the only movie he released this year either.
It isn't.
Yeah. So, yeah, A Perfect World, highly, highly recommend it. It would be much higher on this list because it's a fantastic movie if it weren't for so many other fantastic movies released this year.
Right. That movie, like I said, I saw it a couple times. I need to watch it again. And I think it's well worth your time. I can say that much about it. It's only after seeing it a couple times and probably not. It's probably about 20 years ago was the last time I saw it.
Yeah. Yeah, I specifically remember like that scene with Kevin Costner like walking out into the cornfield, and then all the scenes with like the kid in the Casper mask, and the ending scene with Kevin Costner like under the tree and everything. Like all those things really, really stood out in my memory of things that like years and years after I'd see this, I would still remember those things. And it took me a good while. There was a long time where I couldn't remember this movie, what it was. And eventually I figured it out, and I've watched it a bunch of times since. But there was like, I don't know, 10, 15 years where I was like, what was that movie? And I couldn't figure it out. And I came across it one day. And as soon as I saw the cover to it, I was like, that's the movie.
Yeah, that happened, like, so, not to like date us or anything, but that happened a lot as a kid. Like, you catch a movie, it'd be on TNT, it'd be on TBS or something. You watch it, you're like, I don't even know what that was called, but I liked it. And then you kind of just gotta try to find it eventually as you get older. But that was definitely a thing.
Yep.
Like, you had to go to your TV guide to see what it was. Like, you couldn't just push a button; it would show up what it was.
TV guide.
That was a thing. That was a thing.
So anybody that doesn't know that, maybe there's a younger viewer watching this. TV guides were these little booklets that were like the size of I don't know. 8 by 4, maybe.
A big pamphlet, I guess, kind of.
Yeah, and it would tell you all the things that are on TV that week, so you could find them and watch them.
Yep.
And have everything sort of arranged so you could watch them on time and all that.
I know.
I remember my mom had like a stack of them, and she would go through and like highlight things. It's so funny.
I think every family did that.
Yeah.
And that was just what it was at the time. There wasn't instant access to everything. You just had to be happy that something was on TV when you wanted to watch it.
Yeah. Or when you would try to like program the VCR to record something in advance.
Oh, geez. Yeah,
and
never
then you'd
worked.
wake up the next day and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And you're just like, no, not again. It never worked.
Foiled. That was illegal, I think, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, why's the function there if you're not supposed to use it?
That's a fact.
Yeah. All right. Number 11, the last one of my pre-top 10 list is Groundhog Day.
Yep. This is probably the one I left off my list that was the closest to the list as well.
Yeah, it was, I mean, you look at these movies that are up here, and there's some really good ones, and you're just like, that's why I did this. I was like, I need to talk about these in some sort of detail.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
it's a very good movie. I think that movie really relies on how much you like Bill Murray, and like Harold Ramis directed it. I know
yep.
Bill Murray obviously starred, and if you don't, because I had a brief period of time in my life where I just didn't give a crap about Bill Murray. I don't know if that makes me a dick or what, but
I mean, a lot of people don't like Bill Murray.
yeah, I just kind of had a falling out with his movies, and like that's when I saw Groundhog Day for the first time. I'm just like, meh, whatever. As I've gotten older and I've watched some of those movies again. I got a newfound respect for it, and like I said, it almost made my list. It is a very good comedy and kind of an iconic setup for a comedy. I'd say the time loop thing.
Yeah, it's one of the most well-known time loop movies. It's not the first one,
Nope.
but yeah, very good in that regard. What's interesting about it is I had read an interview where I think it was Harold Ramis was talking about where the idea for the movie came from, and he based it on the idea of, I think, Buddhism, where there's certain things that you don't learn truly like who you are until like 10,000 years have passed or something like that. And that's what he based this idea on, that Bill Murray entered this time loop that he just repeated until he truly like realized himself and his place and all those things. And everybody's got a lot of theories about how long he repeats this day, but
Oh, it
that
was
quote
definitely a
makes you
while.
think
Yeah.
that it's very possible that he could have repeated that day for, I forget whether it's 10,000 days or 10,000 years. Judging by this, it's probably 10,000 days.
Yeah, years
But
is a bit much, but
yeah, but that's a
still.
long time,
I mean,
for
he
him
learned
to
how to
be.
play piano, so it's definitely not a short stay.
Yeah. So he was there for a very, very, very long time, repeating this day until eventually he got everything right. And I think it's a really good movie. Sarah does not like Bill Murray,
That's what I'm
but
saying.
she likes this movie.
That's also what I'm saying.
Yeah. She she also liked what's that one? The Life Aquatic.
Oh yeah,
She also liked that one.
that's
There's a handful of
zany movie
movies
though.
out.
That one's different. That one's a whole.
Yeah, that's is that Paul Thomas Anderson?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I almost said Wes Anderson. I don't know why I keep doing that.
Wait, is that Wes Anderson?
Maybe it is. I can Google that if you want to keep talking.
I always mix them up. I'm pretty sure it is Wes Anderson, and I'm pretty sure you and I did this exact same
We
thing
did the same thing. Yeah,
previously.
it's not our fault. You get different names. You can make stage
There's
names.
a lot of Andersons out there, but but yeah, it's
It was
man,
Wes Anderson. Yeah, we did it again.
we did it again.
Damn it.
So this is written and directed by Harold Ramis.
Mhm.
Harold Ramis also wrote Animal House, Meatballs, Caddyshack, Stripes, Ghostbusters, Analyze This and That,
Yep.
and Bedazzled, and a handful of other things.
He did Bedazzled?
He did Bedazzled. He directed Bedazzled too.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. That was during his sort of falling out with Bill Murray era.
Because this movie they had the fallout over, right? But they didn't talk to each other until Ramis was on his deathbed. I read.
That's possible. That is possible. I'm not sure that Harold even talked to Bill Murray. I think that it might have been a thing where Harold Ramis went into the hospital and Bill Murray went in there and said his piece with him like on his deathbed, but I'm not sure if they actually got to have that conversation.
Scary.
But yeah, they had a falling out, and it's crazy how often that happens too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
if you got a problem with your best friend,
Talk
you
it
got a
out.
falling out, talk it out. Now's the time, because
You don't know what
never what's
tomorrow's
gonna
got.
happen.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. You really only have, we've only got so many days left on this planet,
Finite.
How many times are you and I going to even see each other in person? Just never know.
You never know.
I might see you we see each other every week, which is more than I see with a lot of people, but we might only see each other in person a handful more times.
You don't
so
know.
We got to make it count.
Make it count.
Yeah.
On that note.
But I mean, that's kind of what
No,
Groundhog
right.
Day is all about.
Yeah.
It's all about not being a dickhead to people,
Yep.
because you do impact all the people around you in the smallest ways, and he's got to proceed to repeat this day over and over again until he stops impacting everybody negatively in all these ways and fully embraces, like, okay, I'm going to save this person, then I'm going to make this person feel better, then I'm going to save this person, then I'm going to help this person get a raise, And that's a big piece of that movie. So,
Yeah.
that's my number 11. So, Dan,
Big
kick
fan of
us
it.
off. We
All
are
right.
on to the official top 10
The
list.
official top 10 list. At number 10, I have Batman, Mask of the Phantasm.
Oh, there it is. There
There
it
it is.
is. There it
You
is.
knew it was coming, man.
I knew it would be there.
Yeah, I grew up with Batman the Animated Series. It's one of my favorite pieces of media I've ever watched, bar none. I've watched it 2 or 3 times through, completely. And this is a theatrical release movie that they gave director, and it was co-directed by Bruce Timm, who is the big creative force behind Batman the Animated Series.
Yep.
And they let him make a full-length movie. And I love it. It's Bruce Wayne and Batman's young career. It's loosely based on the Year One and Year Two comic books, where he's kind of getting settled into place and trying to find his way as Batman. And there's this new assassin in town killing off old mob gangsters and mob bosses. I meant to say that, not mob gangsters. That's stupid. But mob bosses. And he starts a relationship with a woman that he actually finds happiness in. And there's a really great scene in here where he's at the tombstones of his parents, who everyone knows Batman's parents. We all know. I don't have to cover that again. But there's a scene where he's at
They
the
live
tomb.
happily ever after.
They had a great time. They went to the farm up north.
Yeah.
But he's at their gravesite, and he just breaks down because he's considering abandoning the vigilante quest to be happy, because he says, I didn't know I could be happy. And it's just such a great scene, and it really encapsulates Batman more than like most movies do. Like, that is the tragedy of the character right there, is that he never thought he could be happy. He has to be this dark force for justice, you know? And
Yeah.
I really love it. I've watched it a bunch of times. I couldn't leave it off my list. So number 10, Batman, Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah. That movie is fantastic. I'm a big fan of that one. That movie really helped define sort of how I feel about the Batman character. I specifically remember when I saw that one as a kid. I think Josh Bascom, you remember him?
I
think
do.
he introduced me to that because he used to live next door to me growing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's one. I think every kid I knew had that VHS, and I kind of want to. I got to find it and get myself a copy of it at some point.
Yeah, I was trying to track down some of the old VHSs and whatnot that I have, and there's a couple behind me that I did track down, but a lot of that stuff just didn't make it.
Yeah, that's life.
Yep. Okay. This is so funny. The thing what you went for number 10, what I went for. So, number 10 for me is Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey.
Can I just interrupt you and say number 9 for me is Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey?
There we go.
Yeah.
So this movie is, it really, 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 it was an unbelievable, like, I watched it so much growing up.
Yeah.
And it's so emotional, and it's one of those, it's one of the first cases of them, like, using real animals and applying, like, voices to the real animals.
Right. They didn't try to make the mouths move, but like they were like projecting what they were saying, kind of.
Right. And Michael J. Fox and Sally
why can't we do that?
I mean, they should still do that.
The fake voices, the fake mouths look worse than just.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Sorry.
And it makes it like impossible to take any scene like seriously in a lot of cases. Or there's like weird, like, you're like, this doesn't look right.
It's uncanny valley. You can't get past it. When it looks weird, your brain says that's weird, and you get stuck on it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this movie's fantastic. I watched this with Sarah, I think last year, and she was like blown away by this, and she started to cry at the end.
It's emotional as all hell. Like that's part of the reason why I put it here too. Like the amounts of times, because like movies higher up on my list, I watched a lot more as an adult. But as a kid, this was like my jam for a few years. Like I love this movie. I watched it more than anything else. Yeah. As you said, not directed. I'm sorry. Sally Fields was Sassy. Michael J. Fox was Chance, and then Don Amici voiced Shadow the dog. Don Amici sadly passed away the same year, 1993, that the movie came out. But yeah, they're all great in the roles, and it's fantastic. It's a remake of a 1963 movie, just called The Incredible Journey, I believe. But yeah, Disney knocked it out of the park. Made you have the feels.
Yeah. And the ending to this,
Hmm.
I tell you, if you haven't seen this movie and you're a fan of animals, you need to watch
You need
this.
to watch it. Yeah.
The ending is so damn good, and it's like I wish they would release like a 4K version of this with some making of things, because I mean, like you said, a lot of these people are passing away at this
Hmm.
point, and I would be really interested in seeing how they made a lot of these
Right.
scenes.
And like,
Because it's not like you watch it
yeah,
and you're like, oh no, that'd be like it would be incredibly difficult, but it also looks like it would be incredibly fun.
right.
Just to see just to see them shooting these, it would just be incredibly interesting to watch.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to see that. 100%. I'm with you on that idea. I hadn't really thought of that, but it'd be great. I do remember that there's like famous like behind the scenes that Chance the dog was kind of unruly and a pain in the butt to work with. So I kind of would like to hear those stories.
Yeah. Yeah, so would I. Yeah,
Yeah,
but this movie it's so damn good, and I was hoping I could find the VHS for this because I had it on VHS, but I couldn't find it,
I looked for it last
unfortunately.
night at my parents' house. Couldn't find it either. It's in a box somewhere.
Yeah, I feel like mine's in a box somewhere too, and just don't know.
Yeah, I'm currently from you see my ever ever lessening amount of games behind me. I'm in the boxes of my crap for a move too. So
Oh yeah, isn't it fun moving board games?
no, no, it is not. They are awkward. They take up a lot of space.
Yep, yes they are. Okay, so that was my 10 and your 9,
And
right?
my nine. So that goes to your nine now?
Then it goes to my 9.
Yeah.
So my number 9 is Mrs. Doubtfire.
Classic.
It is a classic. So this is directed by Chris Columbus, who also did Home Alone and
Not that one.
a handful of the yeah, and a handful of the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
And it also won an Oscar for best makeup for Greg Cannon, and he actually passed away over the weekend. So
Oh, that's too bad.
yeah, very sad. 22 years ago, this guy was obviously at the top of his game. So yeah, very sad to hear about that. And I read about that like the same day I was planning on watching this. So I did watch this over the weekend too, and so did Sarah. And she was really happy with it. She had a good time with it. And this one for me, once again, it really holds a special place for me
Hmm.
because one of the big themes of it is divorce, obviously. My parents got divorced the year after this movie got made.
Right.
So we had this movie, we owned it. Back then you come out in 1993, you're not owning a movie until 6 months afterwards.
Right.
So I remember watching this a lot, and there's a lot of aspects of it that it really nails about what it was to go through a divorce in the 90s specifically,
Right.
and how poorly it seems like so many parents were handling it. I don't know if they're handling it better now, but it seems like a lot of people I had known that got divorced nowadays seems to have handled it better and didn't, drag the whole family through court for years.
Right. And I want to speak to like the social economic way the world was back then, but I don't think divorce was quite as commonplace. Is that the right word? It's, is that the right word for it? Like it wasn't like in society it was kind of still like a ooh scary kind of oh no keep that quiet kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Well, I
Some
think I think it had kind of picked up a lot of speed during this era,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
and basically all of it. If you were getting divorced, it was like guaranteed custody battles,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And so this really nails a lot of how that all functions. Now, what's really interesting about the movie is that I kind of didn't realize, there's so many aspects of it I didn't remember. But what I thought was interesting is that they start the movie where they frame everything very much from Robin Williams' character's point of view.
Right.
And one of the big things they do is they frame it so that you are seeing so many of these things that happen with the wife from his point of view. So that when she's getting upset, like, yes, you understand why she's getting upset, but you don't see everything that led to that point, and
Right.
that's intentional. So they're framing it very much of like, oh, he's just trying to have a good time and do this, but he's not. But the thing is, he's not like a grown up.
No.
He's not acting like an adult in all these cases, and that's what she's frustrated about. And so the way they tell the story is where you're kind of on his side at the beginning, when all of that happens.
Hmm.
But as it progresses on, you learn how all of this happened.
Right.
You learn her point of view with Robin Williams, so that by the end you're seeing her from his point of view too. So it really pulls you along in that journey really effectively. And by the end you're really rooting for her. And I mean, I'm going to spoil the ending because you have to have seen this movie by now. It came out
It's
25
one of
years
those.
ago. It's an
Yeah.
all-time classic. Like, they don't get together in the
No.
end. They stay divorced.
Hmm.
And the improvement is that Robin Williams' character becomes a full-fledged adult and that he can see his kids again. That's the improvement. And I thought that was a really mature way to handle this. And I read while I was watching it that apparently the studio and the producers actually fired the writer
Oh
while
wow.
they were making it and hired somebody new because they thought it was too much of a downer ending. Because the way he wrote it, and he didn't want to change it, was that they don't get back together. And as they tried to continuously rewrite this thing, they eventually realized that no, they can't get back together.
Yeah.
And they also realized that that would set up kind of an unrealistic view of divorces, that your parents are going to get back together, because 98% of the time they are not going to get back together. They are never going to get back together.
Like Liar Liar.
Does that happen in Liar Liar? I
Oh
don't
yeah,
recall.
they get back together at the end, and it's like, did you need to do that to us? Like,
Yeah. So, and what ended up happening is they hired this writer back to fulfill everything and push it through and be like, you know what, you were right.
Mhm.
This is the ending that it has to be. That the resolution to the story is that he gets to have partial custody of his kids,
Mhm.
whereas like the courts didn't want to give him any custody because they're like, you're a liability.
he dressed as a woman and almost burnt the house down and all that stuff.
Yeah. And watching it, you're like, you would get arrested. You would
Oh,
get arrested.
100%. Yeah.
Like, yes, they would think you are a psychopath if you actually did this in real
Yes.
life. Like this.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that video on YouTube where they turn the trailer for this into a horror movie trailer?
Yes. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Like, it very easily could be a horror movie.
It
They
could.
should make a horror movie version.
They should. I don't think I have any horror movies on my list, actually, now that I think about it.
You know, I don't
No,
either.
kind of.
I mean, we probably both have the kind of. There's a couple that are like,
Fringe.
backdoor horror movies. Like,
I don't like a backdoor horror movie.
you know what I mean?
I do.
They're kind of like genre hybrids.
Yeah.
Would be the best way to put it.
That's a good way
But
to put
no,
it.
I did not find much in the way of like, oh, really great horror movie right here that
Right.
came out. But yeah, so Mrs. Doubtfire, it was hilarious. It was heartwarming.
Yep.
And like I said, my parents got divorced, and there's a lot of aspects of this that really helped me while growing up, especially the aspect of the parents not getting together.
Yeah.
You know, so I was very young when this movie came out. I was very young when my parents got divorced, and it was probably one of the hardest times of my life. So, you know, I'm not going to say this movie, like, it helped ease some of the things. You know,
Yeah.
you lean on a lot of things, and obviously in my life I've leaned on movies a lot. So, you know, this movie came out at the right time for me, and it really meant a lot to me.
Yep, and that's great. And I'm glad that they did that for you.
Yeah.
All right. So we're moving on to my number 8 then?
Yep.
All right. My number 8, you've mentioned it already, from director Tony Scott, written by Quentin Tarantino, is True Romance.
Oh, there we go. I figured you still had it on your list somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I was like, he would say more about this.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I kind of want to just like touch base on it a little bit. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. It's a wish fulfillment movie in the biggest like sense of it. Like basically Christian Slater's character is how Tarantino viewed himself at the time. You substitute out the fact that he worked at a comic book store for the fact that Tarantino worked at a video store. It's about the same thing. This is probably what he wanted. He wanted some magic call girl to come into his life and change everything. But yeah, it's a brutal movie in a lot of ways. Its dialogue is not for everyone. The dialogue can be a bit rough in points, but the cast is amazing. You got Christopher Walken, you got Dennis Hopper, Tom Sizemore, Sean Penn, obviously Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, Brad Pitt's in
Kilmer.
there, Val Kilmer's in there, and you don't even see Val Kilmer's face, which is insane to me.
Yeah.
Like peak Val Kilmer, they have him in there as Elvis, and he's just in the background kind of for like 2 scenes.
Gary Oldman.
Oh yeah, I was gonna mention Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman's so good in that weird role.
Yeah.
Like not the role you think he would take, but yeah, he's great in it. But yeah, it's one of those movies. Like I remember the first time I watched it, I saw it like back to back with Reservoir Dogs, and Reservoir Dogs is the Tarantino movie I stuck to the most. Like that's the one I was like, this is my movie,
Yeah.
And so this one kind of just fell by the wayside, and it wasn't until like a few years back where I watched it a few more times. I'm like, this is actually pretty damn good. So
I didn't
yeah,
see Reservoir Dogs until years and years later. I didn't see Reservoir Dogs until probably like early 2000s. I want to say like 2004, 2005 maybe.
yeah,
I saw that one super late. I saw this one probably 1994, 1995.
yeah.
Cable TV.
Yeah, I think that's where I saw it first too. So you see the all cut up and edited version.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's also I want to point out there's a really crazy good fight scene in here between James Gandolfini and Patricia Arquette that has just always been in my head for whatever reason. It just pops in there every now and then,
Yeah. You know what just occurred to me? Very similar shootout Tony Scott did at the end of this as to what he does at the end of Enemy of the State.
Yeah. Very similar also how Reservoir Dogs ends.
Yes. Yeah, with the standoff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, super
Great.
good movie.
Yeah, really good movie. And yeah, I think we touched on it enough. So yeah, number 8 is A True Romance.
Great. Yeah, I didn't have that much to say about it because I have not seen it in a very, very long time.
I just watched it yesterday.
I wanted to. I couldn't find it anywhere. Do you have it?
Yes. No. It was one of those ones my mom bought. It's on her Voodoo Fandango, whatever the hell.
Voodoo. Voodoo.
Yeah, I do. I pop on there every now and then just to see what she's collected, and it was on there, so gotta watch it that way.
Like, Mom, you have a problem, but also this is awesome.
Yes. 2 things.
Yep. All right. My number 8 is Menace to Society.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it?
I have.
I watched this over the weekend, and man, this movie really blows me away every time I watch it because there's so many things I didn't remember about it, and I'm like remembering them as they're happening, and it is darker than I remembered it being.
It is
very dark. So it's the Hughes brothers who started off their career directing Tupac music videos, and then they moved on to directing Dead Presidents, From Hell, and The Book of Eli.
Mm-hmm.
So really, really prolific career that they had. And they're not doing too much anymore. But, man, like, seeing that they went from this to Dead Presidents really shows. Because this movie is crazy dark. Mm-hmm. A lot of people make a lot of comparisons to Boys in the Hood. And I get it. I 100% get it. Like, if you were doing a triple feature of, like, Southern California 90s movies, it'd be like Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, and Friday.
Yeah.
And it really lines up with the general, like, aspect of those, but it's, like I said, super dark. Seeing sort of the trajectory of your main character in this, they don't... I thought I'd remembered them playing him more as, like, a good guy. Like, you think you're going into it and you're getting, like, the Cuba Gooding Jr. character, but you're really just getting 2 Ice Cubes, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's a good way to put it, yeah. It's a movie I haven't seen in a very long time. I need to watch it again. I respect it. When I looked at it in my list, I'm like, I'm going to leave that one off. I was going to put that one as an honorable mention and kind of decided really early on in the process. But doesn't mean it's a bad movie.
Yeah. Well, and, I think it really helped that I rewatched it.
Yeah, that does help.
And that was, I may not have rewatched it if it weren't so difficult to find all the movies made in 1993. Very few of them are available to watch.
Yeah.
So I did find this one, and I was like, I remember liking that. I'll go for it. And yeah, it's very good. It also has a young Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, Samuel Jackson was in my movie too. True Romance for like 10 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's in a ton of like bit parts in this era. Bill Duke is also in this, and Charles S. Dutton is fantastic in this. He has one of the best monologues in this that in really like any movie that he's done. So it's very good. And it's interesting sort of watching the trajectory of the character in this, how he's got every chance. He's presented with a number of chances to change his ways and to get out of this neighborhood and to move on with his life, and he kind of keeps not taking them.
Yeah.
And that leads him down the path that he goes, where
Right.
he's choosing revenge over moving on. He's choosing partying over being with the woman that he's now falling in love with. He's choosing all these things over the better things that, like, he is present. It's really interesting how they present all these things to him too.
Right.
Like they're like, hey, you could choose to move out of the city and go with your friend here, or you could choose to leave and go with Jada Pinkett Smith's character. So it's really interesting how they present all those things, and it's also very similar to another movie that I'm going to talk about in a little while.
All right, very nice. I gotta watch that one again. It's been a while.
Well, it's available. I think it's on Tubi.
All right. So, on to my number 7.
Yep.
Don't know why I keep asking you this, but I should know. All right. In at number 7 for me, I have In the Line of Fire.
Oh, there it is.
Which is...
There it is.
There it is. So, In the Line of Fire, Clint Eastwood movie, directed by Wolfgang Peterson. There he is. And yeah, in the movie, Clint Eastwood plays a Secret Service agent. He was there when Kennedy got assassinated, and he's kind of been just kind of guilt-ridden about not being able to save Kennedy. And there's this assassin played by John Malkovich, who won an Oscar for this, by the way.
He won an Oscar for this?
No, sorry, nominated. I apologize. Nominated.
Oh, okay.
My bad.
Pay this man his money.
His money. But yeah, he's great in it, and it's a tense action thriller. They don't make him like this really anymore, and Clint Eastwood, top of his game. Just a really good movie, and one that, like, every time I made this list, I kind of bopped it off, bopped it back on, bopped it off, bopped it back on, and in the end, as we said, it comes down to rewatchability and how much you would like to watch a movie. And like, I really like this movie, and I would watch it anytime.
Movie.
Yeah,
it's a really good movie.
So that's my number 7, In the Line of Fire.
There you go. I like that. It's not on my list, but it was one that I highly considered. And if I had watched it more recently, it might be on there. I have a DVD sitting right here. I don't have an excuse.
Yeah, it's very good. And Clint Eastwood looks like the same now. Like, not same now, but like he was like 62 when he made that movie. It's crazy.
He got old young.
Yeah, old young.
Okay.
It's funny.
Number 7 for me is The Sandlot.
Mm-hmm.
So I also have that right here. My
the clamshell
feature.
The clamshell. Gotta love the clamshell.
Yeah.
Why didn't I swear to God I have that. I can't find any of my 2003 movies. Oh my God, 1993 movies.
2003.
Yeah. Sorry, you said You said 22 years earlier, and it's been 32. So.
Y'all know what this is?
That is a record, vinyl record.
Oh, look, it's not rewound all the way. I wonder if we started watching it and didn't finish it.
That's possible.
I want the story behind that.
It's
But
definitely
anyways,
a story.
This movie, I watched this movie so many times growing up. I've seen this movie more than I've seen most movies. And I kind of feel like I wish I had bumped this up at least 1 or 2 places. But I didn't. And I could easily have this at number 6. But anyways, it's fantastic. Fantastic movie. It's, another sort of coming of age story.
Oh, absolutely.
It's got a ton of one-liners, heroes live forever, heroes live forever, but legends never die.
You nailed it.
The forever. I still quote when somebody asks, can I have some more of that? I'll be like, how can you have some more if you haven't had any of that?
I mean, you're killing me, Smalls. I mean, that pops up all the time, too.
Yeah. So, I mean, this movie, it's fantastic. It's got so many scenes in it that are truly, truly iconic. and it really is. It's one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
So I had to put it on here. I am going to unofficially say this is actually my number 6 choice. I
Nice.
mean, I say unofficially, but I'm gonna say it
Officially.
officially. Yeah. So when we get to my number 6 choice, that's actually my number 7.
Right.
I'm just looking at
Hey.
my list. I'm like, I should switch these two.
Things
But
change.
anyways, it's fantastic,
It
and I
is.
wish I had watched it leading into this, but I am going to watch it soon.
Yes. Great movie. Maybe we'll talk about it in a bit. We don't know. Uh, I will tell you that at number 6 for me, I have a movie that you've already mentioned, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, there it is.
So there it is. Yeah, I was trying to talk about it with you while you were talking about it, so I won't go too far into it. As you said, directed by Christopher Columbus, not that one. Starring
Just
Rob,
Chris Columbus.
just Chris Columbus. You're right. I'm sorry, not Christopher. That again, you make your own decisions on that guy. Different guy. But yeah, it's a great
No
movie. It's a
relation.
no relation. Is it Disney? I feel like it might be Disney. I should have looked that up. But yeah,
It
it's
is
Rob.
Disney.
That's
I
what I thought.
watched it on Disney Plus.
Yeah. So yeah, Robin Williams, top of his game. Uh, One little thing here I wanted to add that you didn't say was apparently that to try to prove the makeup, he got dressed up in the full Mrs. Doubtfire outfit and went to an adult bookstore and made a purchase. And he said no one stopped him or mentioned it, so he thought that proved that the makeup was good enough, which I
It
thought was
is good
hilarious.
makeup.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I had
yeah,
read that too.
did you? Okay, yeah, it's a
You
fantastic
know me.
movie. Yeah, I do. It's an absolute classic, and yeah, I think deserves to be on this list. And then, like I said, this I just kept coming back to it. Like like literally, like you did the top 15. I could have easily done that too. And like, there's not even like that many of the same that I think would still pop up.
Yeah.
So yeah, number 6 we've talked about already, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Fantastic movie. Pierce Brosnan. We haven't talked about Pierce
We did
Brosnan being
not.
in
That's
this.
right.
He's awesome in it.
He
He
is.
like this is right before he did Goldeneye.
Yeah,
Because I think Goldeneye is what 95.
I think 95, 96, somewhere in there.
I think it's 95.
But yeah, they're like, you know who we need to be James Bond? That dude from Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah. He did this. He had a bunch of like weird little action movies like Live Wire and
Hmm.
Detonator. I don't know if you've seen those, but
Yeah.
I have, and I have Detonator on VHS right there. I'm looking at it. But he
Yeah.
did like a handful of like little action movies like that,
Yeah.
and Remington Steele, and
Hmm.
I actually watched an interview with him over the weekend where he talks about this movie and how fun it was to shoot these scenes with Robin Williams.
My bad.
And you can just see Robin Williams just going just a mile a minute during some of these scenes, doing his whole improv thing. And I also read that Robin Williams improved a massive amount on this shoot.
He did, like
And
usually, right?
yeah, and it just shows, he was such a talent, and this movie really showcases that talent to 100%. Like that scene where he's running back and forth through the apartment because the woman's meeting there,
Hmm.
and he runs into the other room and he's Mrs. Doubtfire, and then he changes and comes back out. Like just watching that scene happen, it is truly a masterclass in filmmaking and comedy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so God, it's good. They need to put this out as like a 4K. I'd buy the crap out of it.
I looked it up. I was like, is this available?
Not yet.
But you should watch that video. I think it's like Vanity Fair or Variety or somebody.
Pierce Brosnan.
And yeah, they show him scenes of his movies, and he basically does
Oh,
like a
okay.
little bit of comedy or not commentary.
Commentary. Yeah.
And he's like, oh, the funny thing about this is this and this. He's
I love
talking
when they do
everything
those.
through it. Yeah, it's really cool, and it was he had nothing but nice, beautiful things to say about Robin Williams and his time with him on this movie.
Right. Not to watch
He
that
actually
then.
said, he's like, I never met Robin Williams. I only met Mrs. Doubtfire the entire time. He's like, the moment I went in there, he said he went in and met him in the makeup trailers where he met him, and he was already in the outfit, and he kept bouncing between like Robin Williams and Mrs. Doubtfire voice wise, and he was like, he's just going the whole time.
It sounds like the kind of guy. Yeah, that's awesome. I have to watch that.
Yeah, you should.
You're number 7, if I'm not correct.
6.
I know, but you said.
Oh yeah. So this is my number 6, but it's actually my number 7. Is Addams Family Values.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So It really, really, really is a fantastic movie. I have not watched it very recently at all, so I don't have that much to say about it and my love for it. But I can say that I do love this movie. I think it is a very, very great follow up to Addams Family. There's a lot of people out there who think this is actually better than the Addams Family, and I don't prescribe to that, but I think it's damn close.
Yeah, yeah. Raul Julia, obviously. Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
It's just such a good. It's like some movies are just time capsules of an era.
Yep.
Like this reminds me of like sitting in my house like on a Friday night with a pizza from Daryl's and just watching this movie. And yeah, I respect it, and I didn't put it on my list sadly, but it was close. It was. If I said what I said was my number 11. Was also your number 11. This would be 12 because it was just right there.
Yeah. Raul Julia passed away the year after this. I
Hmm.
always forget that it was so close to when this came out because
Right.
I was like, man, I wish they had done a third one of these. But
How could you?
yeah, but it was literally not an option because
Yeah.
he passed away immediately following Street Fighter, right?
Yep. Street Fighter. Street Fighter was the last thing he said. I'm just doing it for a paycheck because he knew the show was ending. We'll say.
Yep. It's one of the it's one of the few like horror Thanksgiving movies out there.
Yes, that's true.
It's like a Thanksgiving horror comedy.
Yeah.
And that whole section of the movie is absolutely brilliant. When
Yeah.
they do the section on uh like the skits and all that they do, like
Hmm.
all that stuff is really great. This is still once again directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, who did the original. He also did Get Shorty, Men in Black 1 through 3. I
Nice.
didn't realize he made all three of those.
I didn't know
He
that
did.
either.
He also did Wild Wild West and
Wild Wild
RV
West.
with Robin Williams. So yeah, wicked wow wow.
Wow, wow. And this movie started my lifelong crush on Christina Ricci.
There you go. There you go. Did you watch the first season of Wednesday?
Nah, yes, I did. It's been a while
She's
though.
in that.
She is.
She's very good in that. She is also having a bit of a renaissance herself between that and
Yellow Jackets, right?
Yellow Jackets. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm a big fan of hers.
Yeah, me too. Me
Probably
too.
going back to these movies.
Yeah.
Angelica Houston,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah,
absolutely
fantastic.
wonderful as Morticia. Yeah, the music in both of these is really good too.
Is this the one where they had the gag with the baby, and Gomez is like, "He has my father's eyes," and she's like, "Take those out of his mouth." I think that's this one.
It might be, yeah.
It's very good. I mean, it's got to be this one because it's when they have the baby. Yeah. So
Yeah,
checks out.
yeah, you're right, you're right.
Yeah, it's
I was thinking it had to be this one because I don't remember there being a baby or that joke in the first one, and I
yeah,
watched the first one somewhat recently.
yeah, yeah. It's very good. It's that one hurt me to leave off the list. It really did. But
Yeah.
I just went with one comedy, and I wish I didn't stop doing that. But I also I like all these movies, so I don't feel too bad about it. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we're getting into the top five now here,
the
so
the nitty gritty they say,
yeah. So it's about to get real. So you're
real.
about to figure out why all these fantastic movies have been so high on this list. So
Yes.
Dan, you want to kick us off with the top five?
Oh, I shall. And at number 5, I have directed by Andrew Davis, who I don't know who that is really. But at number 5, I have The Fugitive.
Okay, okay.
The Fugitive is, of course, a remake of a 1960s TV show starring Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford is a doctor who came home one night and found his wife being attacked. Tried to stop the attacker. Wife ends up passing away. He gets convicted of the crime, gets sentenced to the death penalty, and there's a giant, awesome, fantastic train crash that releases him, and then he goes on the run trying to find the person who killed his wife and avoid a just pugnacious pursuit by Tommy Lee Jones's actual Oscar-winning performance as oh my god, I blanked on the name, but he plays a FBI director who is searching for him, and he's fantastic at it.
Yeah, he really is fantastic. So I watched this movie, I think last week, and what really surprised me about it is that the first 40 minutes are really like action, action, action,
Yep.
mile a minute. And then after that, it's like an hour and a half of like him solving
The
the
murder.
mystery.
Yeah,
It's really the most gripping 40 minutes.
it is.
It's just pumping right through like murder, murder. All right, court case, court case. All right,
Train
prison,
crash.
prison break.
Yep.
Like hunting. All of these
The
things within...
Spillwell scene. Yeah.
Yeah. All of
Sam
that.
Gerard. Sam Gerard's his name. I couldn't remember it. Sorry.
So much of what people probably remember about this movie is
first 40
barely
minutes.
half of it. Yeah,
Yep.
It's the first 40 minutes. And after that, they're like, okay, well, he escaped. Let's pump the brakes a little bit and figure out where he's going to go and what he's going to do. And that's the rest of the movie. And it's so good.
Yeah.
Then the way they split it up, it's absolutely wonderful. It's, it's damn near a masterpiece. I think like 10 years ago, I had played this movie for a group of friends when I was living in Rochester in the South Wedge.
Mhm.
And everybody was so into it. They were like, holy shit, this is like one of the best movies we've ever seen. And like there was a group of like 10 people over, and everybody like stopped and just was watching this movie with me because I had just like thrown it on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon.
It's as I said, Tommy Lee Jones got the best supporting actor, deservedly so. But you got to respect Harrison Ford's work in here too. Like he really carries the movies. Dr. Kimball.
He really is. The beard that he sports for the first part of it.
Great beard.
The way he acts in all these scenes, his greatest strength is how you really feel like he's just an everyman.
Mm-hmm.
He plays an everyman like nobody's business. And that's what makes him so effective as an action star.
Yeah.
He's not this muscle-clad guy. He's not Chris Evans, He's not Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Nope.
You feel like this could be you or your father or just somebody in your family that's just running away. Really interesting fact I read is that when he's running through the forest early in the movie, he hurts his leg, and when he's limping through the rest of the movie, that's because he refused to get surgery done on it, and it was because he wanted that limp to show for the rest of it.
And literally right here, he tore a ligament in his knee.
You're like, no!
Stop!
Again!
He's done it every time. Yeah, right here, he tore a ligament in his knee while filming the escape scene in the woods, and refused to get it fixed because he wanted the limp to be authentic, which is insane because that doesn't feel good. As someone who's had knee damage before, it's not great. So, I mean, kudos to him, but I would have been like, we're going to stop production for 6 months while I get this fixed.
Yeah. On your point of Andrew Davis, I did take note of other things he's done. He did Above the Law and Under Siege from...
I like Under Siege.
Who's that guy? Steven Seagal.
Yep.
And which also has Tommy Lee Jones in it. And he did Steal Big, Steal Little, which I haven't seen. And he did Chain Reaction with Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
Perfect Murder, Collateral Damage, and coincidentally, Holes.
He did Collateral Damage?
He did Collateral Damage.
I apologize to Andrew Davis. I guess I should have looked up his filmography before I gave him shit.
He's done some things.
But this is his best movie.
Yes, this is his best movie.
And also,
can you just imagine how much better Above the Law and Under Siege would be if it wasn't Steven Seagal.
So much better. Why was that guy a movie star? I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me. He had no charisma. He's just a douche, and his fighting skills were not that good.
He sucks. Okay, let's move on.
It sucks. But
anything else you wanted to put in for The Fugitive?
No, I'm good.
Okay, if you think of something, I'll give you an opportunity in a little
while.
Well,
when we talk about it with your list, it'll be soon.
Yeah. Okay, so we're number 5, right?
Number 5.
All right, for me, it is A Nightmare Before Christmas, directed by Henry Selick, who also directed James and the Giant Peach and Coraline.
Yes, stop motion movies.
Yeah, that's his thing, and he's fantastic at it. The music in it, which is a huge part of it, is
music's
by
great.
Danny Elfman.
Simpsons.
And yeah, I mean, this movie is fantastic. Hot Topic has made so much money off this movie. It's easy to leave it off a list like this or to think that it's overrated or anything like that because of how big of a deal it's become in culture, in the zeitgeist, and all of that. But I mean, it really is a fantastic movie, and I'm a big fan of it. And there's a reason that it's done all of that. And like I said, Henry Selick directed this, not
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton. Tim Burton was a producer on it.
Presents.
I have to imagine that he did put in a little bit of input into the overall like look of the movie.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Because it really does match his style of all of his movies and everything. But it is 100% Henry Selick's movie, because if you look at the stop motion and the style of James and the Giant Peach and Coraline, it's very similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little bit darker, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, fantastic movie. I'm a huge fan of this. I still remember the first time I saw it. I've sung the songs all the years. It's one of those movies that Sarah and I watch. It's a Christmas movie and a Halloween movie, so you get to watch it in October, then again in December, and maybe somewhere in between if you really feel like it.
Yeah.
So you can watch this any time of year, though. It really does fit. I'm sure I'm just preaching to the choir right now, because everybody has seen this movie.
Yeah, this is Halloween's a real banger. Absolute must play at Christmas. Geez. Well, I guess you could, but more Halloween time.
Yeah, whatever you feel like. It's kind of a perfect transition between the two.
Gremlins. But that's okay.
Gremlins I consider Gremlins strictly a Christmas movie.
That's fair.
Okay, number 4.
Number 4, for me, is a movie you've already mentioned, and it is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's a movie I finally showed to my nephew last summer, and he loved it.
Is it The Sandlot?
It's The Sandlot.
Yeah.
You knew,
I like guessing things.
That's all right. I like when you do too. Like, I'm a big baseball guy. We know this already. And this movie does such a good job. This movie does such a good job of like showing the romance for baseball, as well as also like how like a neighborhood, like how you grew up with the kids in your neighborhood. Like we didn't have baseball. We played hockey up at the park, but we did. It was a very similar kind of idea, You had a group of kids. You all got together in the summer, and you just played a sport outside until it was dark.
Yep.
And this movie encapsulates that, and it's such a fun story. And the kids obviously like goes from thing to thing with like the Babe Ruth ball and all those other things. And James Earl Jones is in it. He has a very good role in it as the neighbor whose ball and the dog, the beast, stole the ball when they hit over the fence. Well, not really stole it, but you know what I mean. The dog, the beast, has the ball. It's James Earl Jones' dog, and he's fantastic in it. He's just an older baseball fan who like was around for when Babe Ruth was around at the time. And it's just fantastic. It's just one of those movies you watch and you get a certain feeling when you're watching it, And it's fantastic. And Art LaFleur plays Babe Ruth in like a dream sequence, and it's fantastic. And he's so good in it. And he does that whole legends die, heroes get remembered thing.
Yeah.
Or heroes die, legends get remembered thing. And then he also
heroes
said
live forever, but legends never die.
Yeah, I killed it twice too. It's all right.
It only took me 3 tries.
Yeah, we got there. There's the part where he finds the Hank Aaron card on the kid's desk, and he's like, "Henry Aaron, mind if I have this?" And just takes it and like goes off into the ghostly plane. I'm like, I love that. That makes me so happy, because obviously we all know what happened eventually. Hank Aaron breaks Babe Ruth's home run record. So it's just like those little nods to baseball. I love the little nods to growing up in a small little group of kids. I love it. It's just one of those movies for me that like I identify with, and it's one of my favorites.
Well, and what's interesting too is they take the kid in it and they present him as having basically zero baseball knowledge whatsoever, which is something everybody can kind of relate to, because at one point or another you had to learn all those things, you know? So it's really cool to see them sort of start it from square one of like, this is what baseball is. This is how you play it. Everybody's got those, not everybody, but a lot of people have those memories of learning to play catch, and most people who have played baseball have been hit in the eye at least once, while playing. Like,
a few times, yes.
Yeah, I remember Coach Emberry did it to me when I was a kid in Little League. And so it's the whole learning curve of how all of that happens is really interesting to watch, because for me, it's really relatable too.
Yeah. And baseball has been a part of America since the late 1800s. I mean, it's America. It's part of the fabric. And this movie just touches on all that. And Dennis Leary plays a great role as a stepdad. And
Dennis Leary.
Just big fan of it. Big fan of that movie. I could go on gushing about it all day, but you got a number 4 too.
I got a number 4 too. Yep. I don't think my number 4 is even going to be on your list.
I might. You don't know.
It is Carlito's Way.
Hmm.
You're like, no, it's not. Uh,
It's a good movie.
it is a good movie. So
Uh-oh. Reaching
I
back.
couldn't find Carlito's Way anywhere. So
Is it the crappy
I
sequel?
painstakingly, so I do have the crappy sequel on DVD, but I went out and bought the Arrow video release
Ooh.
of this, which
Look at
I was
that.
surprised to find. They gave it the whole treatment, just like they gave with Inglourious Bastards,
Oh, very cool.
where you get the 4K edition that also comes with a Blu-ray. I got a little booklet with it
Mhm.
that comes with all sorts of little
That's cool.
stories and things. I got a poster, and that is it. A whole bunch of special features too.
It's fun. It's funny. You flashed the poster and it just had the N-O from Pacino on it, so I just said no.
No. But yeah, this is from Arrow.
That's really cool.
Arrow Video, they put out a ton of really cool things like this. I bought this because it's been on my wish list with them, and it popped up like last week and was like, hey, this is available again if you want it. And so I rolled the dice on it, and it got here yesterday.
Awesome.
Yep, so I watched it, and man, fantastic movie. I liked it way more this time than I ever liked in any time that I've watched it in the past.
That's why I need to watch it again. I've been meaning to get it. It was on my list to watch for this. There's a certain movie on here that has killed a lot of my free time. We'll get to it in a little bit, but yeah, it's very good. It's a very good movie. I know it's a good movie. I want to like it more than I do. I just got to watch it more, I think.
Yeah, so it's Brian De Palma who directed Carrie, Blowout, Scarface, The Untouchables,
Love it.
and he followed this movie up with Mission Impossible,
Oh, nice.
which we're still making those today,
We
thanks
are.
to the groundwork he laid with Tom Cruise in that movie. And honestly, his take on that movie is fantastic too. That movie's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
It's also written by David Coep, who did Death Becomes Her, Jurassic Park, also did Mission Impossible, Stir of Echoes, Panic Room, Spider-Man, Black Bag, that we did a couple months ago.
Oh, that's
and
right.
a whole bunch of other movies. So it's got Al Pacino in it, Sean Penn is in it, Penelope Ann Miller, Luis Guzman,
Mm-hmm.
John Leguizamo, and Viggo Mortensen is in this thing. He did like just a bunch of weird roles like this back in the day, you know? This movie, I mean, it's very good. So it takes place in 1975. And I always looked at this kind of like a watered down Scarface.
Yeah.
And I completely understand why I and many other people kind of make that comparison. You know, you got Al Pacino as a gangster.
Yeah.
You got Brian De Palma making a
Directing.
gangster movie.
Yeah.
It's also a period piece. You know, it takes place in the 70s instead of the 80s. But, you know, you've got a lot of those things. But, I mean, Carlito could not be further from Tony Montana.
Yeah, he wants to get out of the crime, and Tony's very much, I want to be the crime.
Yeah. The problem is that he, once again, just like in Menace to Society, he's presented with all of these opportunities to just cash out and leave, and he doesn't take them.
Yep.
You know, because it presents the story as he is rehabilitated. And I truly think, watching this, that he is rehabilitated. He does not want to be in this life anymore. But the problem is, he's got these priorities where he doesn't want to be in this life anymore, but he does go on that mission with his lawyer to break that guy out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
He does go with his friend to... He doesn't know what it is, but, you know...
He has a feeling it's not good.
Gets in there. Yeah. But he knows that it's probably going to be some illegal stuff. So while he has mentally come to terms with the fact that he doesn't want to be a gangster anymore, it's the only life he knows. Right. It's the only life his neighborhood knows, his friends know, his family, you know, all of them. And so until he removes himself from that environment, which is he is presented many opportunities to do, he's not going to give this up, you know? And the way they tell that story, it was so damn good. And the score was good. There was a scene where they're like showing all these city block houses and everything, you know, all the side-by-side things that you get in a city. And it's in like the pouring rain. And it really reminded me of the scene with Paul Newman and Tom Hanks
And
in
the
Road to
Road to
Perdition.
Perdition. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, man, this looks like it could literally be that scene.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of scenes like that where you're just watching it, and I'm like, man, this is shot so beautifully, and the way they're working the score with this and the camera work, there's so many pan shots and everything. Like it's really, really, really good.
Yeah, De Palma's great at setting the scene up and making sure it looks fantastic in focus and in picture. And he has an earlier movie. Did you mention it? It was like John Travolta,
Blowout.
Blowout. Yes, I need to watch that movie because apparently it's great. Because Tarantino
Yeah,
was raving about it.
it is good, and that's one that I've had on my list to rewatch because I had watched it when I was very, very young and probably didn't appreciate it for what it was. But I think it's John Travolta, and I think John Lithgow, I think,
Oh
is
yeah.
in it.
Okay.
He was in a ton of movies during this era. But yeah, De Palma did that as well. And I mean, Carrie, fantastic.
Yeah.
Gold standard for a Stephen King adaptation.
It really is. And they're making another one.
Yeah, yes they are. Did you play Grand Theft Auto Vice City?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they had a whole arc in that game that's it's very similar to this movie and,
Yes.
and the arc in this with the lawyer and the prison break and everything.
Yeah.
That game, man, is so good. And as I was watching this, I was like, oh yeah, this is a mission in that game. Like,
That's awesome.
Highly, highly recommend this one. It's just a fantastic movie. And the transfer on the 4K, wonderful.
All right. So
Into the top three.
into the top three, and I think the reason why you knew that Carlito's Way wasn't gonna be on my list because I'm pretty sure we know what 1 and 2 is. Three is a question mark for me for you, but for me, sitting number 3 is Schindler's List. Now, I had a hard time with this movie because at first I had it at number 10 because I don't want to watch it that much. You know, it is a brutal watch. It's long. It's not happy. It's just
Very sad.
constantly beating you over the head with like just terrible thing after terrible thing after terrible thing.
Yep.
And I watched it for this list. It's the second time in my life I've watched it. I don't know if I'll watch it again, but I have to give it its props. Like it is beautifully shot. Liam Neeson's fantastic as Oscar Schindler. Ralph Fiennes is the Nazi. I don't know his name. Doesn't matter. He's terribly good at it. Like he's terrifying in the role. Like he just has that dead eye look to him, even in black and white. Like you can just tell there's something off by that guy. And yeah, Spielberg he won the Best Director Oscar for this. This movie won 7 overall Oscars, and it is something that I respect, and I think it's fantastic, and everyone should watch it. And I had to put it at number 3, but also I told you to put it at number 10 because I just don't want to watch it that much. Which I know you're like number 3. You're putting up this it's that good though.
It is that good.
It's that good. Like it's a movie everyone should watch. You're not going to want to watch it a lot of times, but it's one of those movies. It's like The Godfather. Like you have to watch it at least once in your life, which is why it's not on your list.
It's not on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had it on my list once upon a time. I moved it all around my list.
Yep.
But the reason I took it off, which I actually took it off today, what did I add? I added True Romance.
That's fine.
I had Schindler's List at the top of this list, and I switched it off to add True Romance in because, I mean, on one hand, this Schindler's List is a much better movie than Cool Runnings.
But
man,
I don't want to watch
Cool
it.
Runnings.
Yeah, exactly. Like I know this is not selling it as my number 3 from the year, but it's so I don't know. It's just it's so well made, so well crafted. It's terrifying and it's uplifting to an extent, but it's also just beats you over the head with negative. Yeah,
ridiculously sad.
Yeah, and again, this is the second time I've watched it. From a filmmaking point of view, it's insane what Spielberg was able to pull off here. But also, I don't want to watch it again.
Can you believe that he released Schindler's List and Jurassic Park this year?
That's crazy.
Like, that guy is just, like, how do you do that?
I don't know how you do that. I know how you go from making Jurassic Park to walking on the set and be like, okay, Schindler's List time.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
It's crazy. It's crazy that he was able to accomplish both of those in 1 year.
Yeah. As we've gone through the list, I feel like I should have kept this at 10, but I decided to move it up to 3 just because I respect the hell out of the movie. But it's not gonna be one you're gonna want to watch a lot.
You get no faults from me for that. The only reason it's not on my list is because it's the
Oh,
There Will Be
Mystic
Blood
River.
of this
Oh,
list, or Mystic River.
yeah.
Like, I feel like if I had watched any of those 3 movies a second time, they would have made the list. But
yeah.
I've not watched any of those 3 movies a second time.
Yeah.
And that's why they're not on here.
That's
And,
fair.
I mean, if I had watched Schindler's List for the first time recently, it might be on here. But I haven't watched it. The first time I watched it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 11.
And it's
I haven't watched it since. So
one last thing, like,
not fresh.
yeah, exactly. And like sometimes like a long movie doesn't feel that long. This is a long movie that you feel every freaking second of it. So
Yeah.
probably should have been at 10, but it's at 3. So here we go. Moving on.
Hey, no problem. Okay, so my number 3, great transition, is Jurassic Park.
Oh, dang. Okay. Huh. Okay.
You thought that was going to be number 1?
I thought it was gonna be number 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, I mean, you could probably predict the rest of my list at this point then. So, Jurassic Park, Steven Spielberg, his follow-up to Hook,
Yep.
and then he followed this up with Schindler's List.
Yeah.
What a couple years he had.
It's crazy.
But I just watched this one for the billionth time, maybe 2 weeks ago. And man, does this movie age well. I'll tell you, almost every movie on this list, there were things that I was like, that didn't age too well.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Like that whole scene, True Romance, that is kind of iconic, but also kind of very oof.
I don't remember what you're talking about with that one.
The Sicilian scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's like a scene like that in every one of these movies, you know, and I won't break down what it is in each one of them, but like even in Mrs. Doubtfire, I was like, ooh. That one kind of stings, you know.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't have it. Oh. There's no way to improve this movie.
Wall to wall banger. Yeah.
Yeah, it is truly it is masterpiece. So as as I'm watching it, I'm considering like, why is this one so good? And they've just made all of these ones that are just not that good ever since then. And I think it's because it's lightning in a bottle, right?
Right.
It's half lightning in a bottle. The other half of it is that we'd never seen this before.
No.
There's a certain amount of wonder in seeing these real dinosaurs on screen for the first time, and to hear that score for the first time, and to see these characters. Every character they've created in the new movies is them trying, but yeah, redo what was done in this movie.
Right.
You know, Chris Pratt is their version of Dr. Grant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can track it back like 1-to-1. The guy from New Girl in it is like, he's the comedic relief. That is Newman.
Yep.
You know, they pulled a comedian from a sitcom. And yeah, he doesn't turn out to be the bad guy unless he does in the second or third, which I haven't watched. But you know,
no, he doesn't even show up in those movies.
Oh, well, there you go. So
because they're garbage. Sorry,
but like everything they're doing in all of these new movies, it's always trying to recreate the wonder of the first movie. And what the first movie was doing was it was just trying to make a good adaptation of a great book.
Yeah, Michael Crichton.
Yeah, and I should have grabbed it. I have the Michael Crichton book right over here too, which for its own rights is a fantastic book.
It's a very
Michael
good book.
Crichton is he's well known for all these things, but there's so many things in it that are so unique to their time period too that you can't do now. Like Samuel L. Jackson smoking in the control center.
Yeah, that's
iconic. Never gonna happen again.
Never gonna happen again. Yeah.
You know, and I saw that in a ton of these movies where people are just smoking everywhere. In Mrs. Doubtfire, they have the whole conversation about the smoking or non-smoking section, and he wants to force them into the smoking section because his meeting is in the non-smoking section.
Right.
And so there's things like that you're just like, they're very much products of that era. You know, it's just, that's it. It's lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
It is a piece of time. And you can't recreate a lot of that stuff.
No. They ran into the same problem with Jaws. You're not going to be able to touch that first movie trying to like make inferior sequels, sure they're mostly enjoyable, but you're not going to hit that same height ever again, I don't think.
Right. And that movie, it shouldn't be as good as it is, you know? You're never going to get that lightning in a bottle
No.
again. Because that's Steven Spielberg doing a horror movie. Like, you're not going to get that again.
No.
You know, you somehow got one of the best directors ever to do this.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a similar thing to this. He's not that far into his career when he does this. You know, he's done a bunch, all those 80s movies and everything, but he's not to the stage that he is now where, like, once he did Schindler's List and
Saving Private Ryan, Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, like he's still probably got the illusion that he's not like a Christopher Nolan at this point, right?
No. Yeah.
You know, he even did a sequel to this.
Yeah. Which I like.
You know, but like there's a like Christopher Nolan's never going to do an Insomnia again, you know? So it's lightning in a bottle. And my last point on it, wonderful year for Laura Dern.
Mm-hmm.
She did A Perfect World and then did this. Like, I mean, this made her a household name.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting choice. I like it. So we're moving on to my number 2.
Yep.
And coming in at number 2 is a movie I assume is going to be your number 1, but we'll see. Number 2, I have Tombstone. It's a movie that you and I both love. We've talked about it at length before. It is my favorite Western. It is just, it's one of my, like, the reason it's number 2 is because number 1 is, they're 2 of my top 5 favorite movies of all time, I'll probably say. And this came out in the same year, which is unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Tombstone is so good. Just such a great cast. Such like you said, like lightning in the bottle. The director of this movie, the George Cosmos. I looked at his IMDb page, and he didn't do much after this, or even like that much before this. But like this movie, and like I know there's that whole thing about Wyatt Earp, not Wyatt, Jesus. Kurt Russell like ghost directing this movie because of the issues that are happening with it. And yeah, it's a movie you need to watch Tombstone if you haven't seen Tombstone. I don't know why you'd find this podcast without having watched Tombstone, but if you haven't, go check it out because it is just fantastic. Infinitely, you're talking about quotable. I quoted this movie more. I can like literally say every line to this movie, and yeah, I absolutely love it. I won't stay on it too long because I know we talked about it before, and people know how we feel about it. But yeah, it's fantastic, and yeah, I absolutely love it. And one little thing I found when I was going through, like, trying to find a fun little fact about it, apparently the line from the movie, "You're a daisy if you do," apparently that's historically accurate. Apparently Doc Holliday actually said that during the gunplay of the old Kid Corral.
Yep.
So that's fun.
Yeah. Big fan of that one.
Yeah. What is your number 2?
My number 2 is The Fugitive.
Okay. Gee, I forgot you haven't said that yet. Okay.
Well, because I talked a lot about it during your segment, just because I was like, hey, why not talk about it now?
Yeah.
So when I look at these top 3, somewhat interchangeable depending on how I'm feeling. I watched all 3 of these in the last 2 weeks here because I was like, where do I put these? How do I do this? Yeah. And I mean, The Fugitive is an absolute masterpiece. It's one of my favorite movies. I got memories of watching that with my father when I was young. And I think it's Harrison Ford's best movie. I think it's Tommy Lee Jones's best movie. Looking at Andrew Davis here, it's his best movie too.
There's some fun ones on that list, though.
There are some fun ones on that list. Like Chain Reaction, you remember that movie?
I like Chain Reaction quite a bit.
Yeah,
for what it is.
Keanu Reeves, Morgan Freeman, Brian Cox. Yeah. So this movie is phenomenal, though. And, you know, I just talked at length about it during your segment, so I won't go too far on about it. But there's so many things I love about this movie. And, you know, it's like I said, they don't make them like this anymore. This movie is, once again, it's lightning in a bottle for this era.
Well, you said it too. Like they had those awesome, like, get you going scenes, and then they go into this great little, like, almost police procedure where he's figuring out, like, the one-armed man and his prosthetics and all that. And you're right, like, those tonal shifts shouldn't work, but they absolutely works.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen this movie, please go watch it. It has a sequel, interestingly enough, U.S. Marshals.
Fun movie too.
Which brings back Tommy Lee Jones's crew of marshals that are hunting a new fugitive, played by Wesley Snipes, it is a pretty solid movie.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoy the sequel. It's not a masterpiece like this one is,
No, but it's
but
good.
it's still good. It's got Iron Man,
Robert Downey
Marshall with
Jr.
you.
Yes.
Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, it's got a young Robert Downey Jr. in there.
Mm.
You're establishing that relationship between the person that's being hunted and the person that's doing the hunting, and it's interesting because neither one of them is the bad guy.
No, you want to refer both.
Yeah. And that's the most interesting part about it is that they kind of converge their paths where Tommy Lee Jones is like, okay, so if he didn't kill this guy, and like he starts to see the evidence and he's like, he might not have killed him. If he didn't kill him, he's looking for the murderer. So and that's what leads him down that path.
Right.
And I remember as a kid, like kind of not coming to terms with the fact that like he still gets arrested at the end, and that's how they end the movie. And I was like, "What?"
He's
but like,
still convicted.
that's
Yeah.
like that's what it is. Like you're like, yeah, he's not going to spend the rest of his life in jail. He's not going to get executed. Whatever. Sorry, spoiler alerts. 33-year-old movie.
Yeah.
Come on, man, I love it so much. I
It's
watch
very
it
good.
at least once a year.
Yeah, literally, like, I mean, I put Schindler's List down here for respect, but yeah, Fugitive, Sandlot, Tombstone, and my number one are movies I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoy. And to the surprise of absolutely no one, my number one is Jurassic Park.
Yep.
One of the first movies, I don't think it was the first movie. I think Titanic made it to the $1 billion threshold before it, but a re-release got it over. Just a giant movie for me personally. It was basically my personality for a few years of my life. Like I absolutely loved it. I ate it up. I had a lot of the action figures. I just collected everything I could Jurassic Park. I wish I had a bunch of it still, or didn't destroy it, because I was a stupid kid playing with toys. But just a very impactful movie for me. Just it kind of you can say it kind of opened the door for horror a little bit too, because there's definitely horror elements in it.
Yeah, and that's what I meant earlier when I said that was this really is like an action horror hybrid.
Yeah, that's what I
There's
figured.
100% some horror elements to this movie.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, that's what I figured you were talking about when you mentioned that. So I'm glad that we were on the same page with that. But yeah, just fantastic movie. Universal paid $2 million for the film rights to Michael Crane for this movie, which I think at the time was unheard of. But then, as I said, they made over $1 billion off of it. So I think there was billion. So I think that's just off the movie. Like that's not the merchandising, that's not the sequels. So I think it worked
Universal
out.
Studios have like a ride for this movie? It
They
seems like
did.
the type of movie they would.
They did.
Did you ever go to it?
I did.
Was it
No,
awesome?
No, I'm getting confused. No, I didn't go on it. I think it's only in Florida, but in California. But in the Florida one, they had like a setup where they had like the T-Rex outside and like a car it was standing on when I went there.
Yeah.
And I got photos with that. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I gotta find those somewhere. They're somewhere. I know they are.
Somebody in my community here has a Jeep with the Jurassic Park logo on it.
Oh my God,
they have like the colors and everything on it.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Remember there was somebody that used to have that in Perry too.
Yeah, they used to live on my street growing up.
Yeah. Do you remember where you saw this for the first time?
Jurassic Park I saw for the first time at the Warsaw movie theater. I convinced my aunt to take me.
I saw it at the drive-in for the first time.
Nice. That's a great drive-in movie.
It is a great drive-in movie. I was pumped. So I know for a fact I still have this movie on VHS here somewhere. I couldn't find it though.
I have it. It's packed away. I have the one I had as a kid, and then one I found at like a Goodwill. It was still sealed in the packaging. I'm like, that's mine.
Don't mind if I do.
Don't mind if I do. That's all I got. So let's hear your number one, because I don't know. I have no idea what it could be.
No, nobody has any idea. So my number one is Tombstone.
Yes.
Tombstone is not only my favorite Western, it is one of my favorite movies. If I make a top 10 list of my favorite movies of all time, this will be on it somewhere.
Yeah.
Absolute masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
There's, once again, nothing I would improve with this movie. The cast is unbelievable. The four brothers that you have there,
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Russell, Sam Elliott, Bill Paxton, and, well, I guess he's not brother, but
the posse member.
And Val Kilmer. They're all perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Completely nailed the casting on all of them.
Yeah.
And
not just them, like the supplemental characters, like Billy Bob Thornton's, your Michael Rooker's.
Billy Bob Thornton is wonderful. I got this on VHS right here. I
Hell
do have
yeah.
this one. I tried watching this at the old house, and you know how it's always like this has been modified to fit your screen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it jumps between widescreen and full screen, and I had to shut it off.
Oh, that sounds
And I was
terrible.
like, yeah, it was like, oh, you thought so maybe in 1993, but come 2024, because it was last year that I watched it, this is not modified to fit my screen
Nope.
anymore. It is having trouble with it.
Yeah,
But
I have a steelbook of Tombstone coming because I ordered it when it was for sale on Amazon, and then it went out of stock, and now they're like it's delayed. So who knows when I'll ever get that? But
yeah, I missed that, and I'm pretty upset about it, actually. It went so quickly.
Mhm.
And not only is the Steelbook gone, but all the 4K discs are gone of
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah, it's like completely sold out right now. They're going to do a reprint of it, and
I
it's
mean,
guaranteed at this point.
I think for a certain generation, our generation, this is a special movie, and like I don't know if it was apparent at the time that we all would love this movie or it would have this kind of impact on like people of a certain age group. But yeah, it's for people of our age bracket. It's one of those movies that we just all love. I think.
Yeah, I still remember I watched this at my Uncle Tom's house. I got there, and my cousin Kyle was
Mhm.
watching this on Christmas morning. That was the first time I ever saw it, and I was all about it after that. I
Yeah,
bought the VHS of it, and I watched this one once again. I probably watch this once a year.
yeah.
Sarah is a huge fan of this one too, and it's got rewatchability for her.
Oh yeah,
She at least once a year, same thing with her. She's like, I'm kind of in the mood to watch Tombstone.
yeah,
And it's just fantastic, fantastic movie.
yeah. Absolutely great. And like putting it at number two feels dirty, but I love Jurassic Park so much.
That's
And I
okay.
was a dinosaur. I was a dinosaur kid. Like I legit had like the shirts and the backpack, and yeah, it was it was it was huge for me. And like 'cause I got to watch it once, when my aunt took me, kind of like against my parents. They didn't know we were watching, but but yeah, I didn't get to watch it like again until like 2 years later when I finally was able. They finally allowed me to get the VHS. But yeah, that's like that 2 year gap there between like first seeing Jurassic Park and then like having the VHS to watch all the time when I wanted to. That's when
Yeah.
I watched a lot of Homeward Bound.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. One interesting thing I looked up and saw about this movie, how we were talking about how it seems like the Metacritic reviews are always like skewed and just off for
Yeah,
whatever reason. Metacritic gave this a 50.
I saw that. It's insane.
Yeah, you're like, "Oh, you guys don't have credibility."
Yeah, let me stop looking things up by you.
Yeah. I'm not going to base my opinion on you whatsoever anymore. But yeah, so
Yeah,
I highly recommend Tombstone. Also, if you want to hear Dan and I talk even more about this movie, go check out our Val Kilmer episode because
yeah,
we talk about it a bunch there.
we do.
And Paige Leindecker and I also talk about it in our episode that's from like 2 years ago, where she's talking about Western and horse culture in movies. So if you are a super fan of this, we got some more content out there. Just search the YouTube channel. Okay. So I put together a couple honorable mentions
Mm.
here of things that we didn't cover in our episode. So I wanted to just take a moment and talk about these. So we got The Three Musketeers came out this
I
year.
enjoy that movie. That's actually on my list here of honorable mentions. I remember loving it as a kid, and it didn't quite hold up like these other ones have, but it's still good.
Yeah. We got Grumpy Old Men.
Yeah, that was one I struggled to leave it off my list. I like that one a lot too.
That is a fantastic movie. I remember watching it with my sister, my mom, and my grandma at Warsaw Theater there. And we even went and saw Grumpier Old Men. So we got John Lemon and Walter Matthau just being absolutely hilarious,
Yeah.
spending this whole movie fighting with each other and busting balls and drinking and fishing.
Hmm.
And funny, funny movie.
Yeah, such a good movie. It's really, really the word. I know I've said it a few times, but enjoyable. Just
Yep.
put that movie on. Just be entertained.
Yep. Another one that came out, Falling Down with
Yep.
Michael Douglas and
Robert
what was
Duvall.
his name? Robert Duvall. Yep. That's a good one. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, basically Robert. Yeah, Robert Duvall. Jesus. Michael Douglas just gets kind of fed up with society and kind of goes off the rails.
Yeah. I don't know if that one will. I haven't seen it in a long time. I don't know if it ages well.
It probably doesn't.
It probably doesn't. A bunch of action movies came out this year.
Hard Target.
So, Hard Target.
That's my 1993 Jean-Claude movie. Also, Southern. Oh God, what's his name? Wilford Brimley.
Yeah, Wilford Brimley. That British.
So terrible, but good in
But
that
he's
movie.
like, it's Wilford Brimley. Like, doesn't he have like a French accent
He's
that
like
he's doing in
Cajun.
it too?
He's a Cajun. He's a
Yeah.
Cajun man. And, oh boy, better get down by the fire.
This is a legitimately bad movie.
But I love it.
It's like so bad it's good.
Yeah.
Lance Henriksen at the end of it when he's he has the grenade and he's like ha, 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 and then he sees the spark between the two things and he's like whoa.
It's so good. That was John Woo too, right? That was John Woo's like
that was his American
debut. Yeah. So
Yep.
noteworthy movie for that reason.
Yeah. We had Demolition Man.
Yep. I was another one I really like.
Boiling Point.
Yep.
Two Wesley Snipes movies. Cliffhanger. So
I know.
2 movies for Sylvester Stallone there that he released this year. I struggled leaving a lot of these off here.
Yeah.
And Last Action Hero.
Yes. That one I wanted to find a spot for, but just couldn't.
Yeah. Very good. A Bronx Tale came out this year.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that one. That's another really good movie, another really long movie, but just like couldn't do it. Couldn't put it on my list.
Yep. Rookie of the Year.
Yes, I was gonna mention that Rookie of the Year and Sandlot came out in the same year, and if Sandlot wasn't so good, Rookie of the Year would probably be on my list because I really liked that movie as a kid
But
too.
you could
But
only put one.
can only put one
Disney movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rookie of the Year. I respect
That's
you.
kind of where I was at too.
Yeah.
We could do an episode on that movie at some point.
Yeah. That'd be a fun one. Also coming out that year, Dazed and Confused, which a lot of people love. Personally, I didn't really rate it that high, but it's a very popular movie.
Yeah, I like Dazed and Confused. It's got a really, really cool feel to it. It introduced us to a whole lot of actors.
Whole lot of actors' first roles, yeah.
Yeah, and there was a period of my life where I watched that movie a lot on VHS.
Yeah.
It's probably in another box over here, but yeah, I mean, it didn't do it for me enough to get on here.
And then Hocus Pocus was going to be another one I wanted to point out, just because that's another another immensely popular movie. And if you want to put that on your list, you absolutely can. I didn't rate it as high as these other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of movies from this year. I mean, we got What's Eating Gilbert Grape. We got The Firm with Tom Cruise, Philadelphia with Tom Hanks.
Yep.
I've
never seen Philadelphia.
It's sad, and it's not something I want to watch again.
I figured. No, I was in the mood to get kicked in the gut.
Rudy came out this year. Like Rudy's another huge sports movie. Samwise Gamgee, but as a football player.
Pelican Brief.
Yeah, that's another. The Firm and the Pelican Brief being the same year kind of blows my mind a little bit, but
yeah. The Secret Garden.
Oh, nice.
Super Mario Brothers. Beverly Hillbillies.
Super Mario Brothers is not a good movie. Let's be honest. It's absolute ass.
Not. All right. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up. So, Dan, thank you for doing this. I know these lists are not the easiest thing to put together.
They're fun.
We have to watch a lot of movies and think about a lot of things. But yeah, great fun. I appreciate you.
Of course, my friend. Anytime.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next week.